One of my students is a swimmer, and he went this year for the first time, and his mom pulled me aside one day and said, you know, this is most incredible. When he used to come in, he used to look at the surf reports and the weather reports, and suddenly it's a race to the international section of the newspaper, and we don't turn off the news. We don't go to Sports Center. We want to listen to CNN. And she said the debates around the dinner table are taking a decided turn away from sports and into the world.
I think it makes kids aware of the world. I think Model UN just opens your eyes, because I think if you're ignorant of what's going on in the world or what's happening, you basically remain a child. And I think you just see and learn and understand so much more as a result of it.
I mean, how many high schoolers go to school and discuss the AIDS problem in Ethiopia?
For once, you know, you kind of read the newspaper and pay attention to things going on.
And I watch the news because there's a connection to it that I didn't previously have, where I could say, oh, well, this is what the UN's going to have to do about this, or, you know, they can't do that. It's against this charter, and this resolution says, you know, that's not possible. So it's definitely brought out my interest now that instead of just something happening somewhere, I know what's going to have to be done about that.
Students pour their knowledge and writing skills into position papers. These 1- to 2-page summaries help outline their country's positions and lay the groundwork for speeches at upcoming conferences.
The position paper is the most important part of the conference because it tells your subject from a historical point of view, from your country's point of view, and what you want to do in the future.
With the bulk of research completed, the emphasis shifts from the written to the spoken word. Students must learn to draft speeches and learn how to give them effectively in preparation for upcoming conferences.
Yet no one can doubt that the havoc wreaked and the toll exacted by HIV/AIDS do threaten our security.
30 million adults in the world and children infected with the HIV virus in 1998, and 21 million of those were in Africa. So there's an exponential increase in African HIV contractions and AIDS, and it's becoming a huge problem there. I don't have the statistic with me, but there's a gigantic proportion of men enlisted in the army there that have HIV/AIDS, and when they're gone, who are they going to fight with?
Boys, don't stick your hands in your pockets. 93% of your communication message is nonverbal.
The goal of research, writing, and speeches is to help countries reach a consensus.
Oh, let's make sure we do a long-term and a short-term time. That way we're not just addressing one or the other, it's balanced.
In the long term, female equality must be addressed in a respectful way that respects each country's national sovereignty. We are a world community. Let's act like it.
The culmination of their hard work is the conference, which might include 1 or 2 schools or several hundred, a few dozen students or several thousand, and some schools who do not attend outside conferences might hold a model UN simulation in their classroom.
Be in character as much as we can. I know we've practiced it, but we're really going to leave America at the doorsteps.
Whatever country we do have, we assume that identity. That's a very important part of Model UN, thinking as another country.
Seeing so many young people gathered in the General Assembly chamber reminds us that the United Nations was indeed created for the sake of succeeding generations.
The conference covers a wide range of topics, from human rights to refugees, to women's issues, to peace and security. Delegates follow procedural rules aimed at allowing everyone time to be heard.
What's a roll call vote?
Okay. A roll call vote, the only difference between that and a standard vote is that they call you by nation rather than by show of placard.
Haiti, Honduras, Hungary, Iceland, India.
Students may vote on speaking time and time for responses.
Recognized delegate from Brazil. You have the floor for 20 seconds.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. 2 minutes is ample time to have for every delegation here to voice their opinion about the situation at hand.
All those opposed? This motion passes.
All those opposed?
This motion fails.
Delegates motion for a caucus if they want to discuss issues in a more informal setting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion for caucusing of 30 minutes.
Students will spend a good deal of their time caucusing, gathering almost anywhere to discuss and hopefully reach a consensus.
Some kind of diplomatic dialogue with France and Spain. I know it's going to be difficult.
The goal of both formal sessions and caucusing is to present new ideas, gain allies from other countries to support your ideas, and move towards drafting resolutions. Both formal sessions and caucuses can become quite heated, but students in Security Council face even more tension. At some point, they may be faced with a crisis. An emergency event will be sprung on them and demand immediate action.
I have convened the Security Council for an emergency session.
Delegates need to be prepared to discuss situations from today's headlines.
If you are planning on taking unilateral actions, what is that to guarantee that you're not going to come over to our country next?
Delegate, please, order. Delegate, please, order.
Each conference ends with voting on draft resolutions. Just as in the real United Nations, some resolutions pass, but many do not.
This peace agreement does pass.
Take an interest in the world, take an interest in the UN, and becoming engaged. And I think you should stay engaged. You are the leaders of the 21st century. And we are moving into a global village.
I know, I'm like so happy you guys worked really well.
It really worked well. It was excellent work.
You can come prepared, you can do research all year long, but when you get here, you realize that what really counts in all the international relations and negotiation is really interpersonal skills.
Besides a learning tool, it's a great way to socialize with great people. You meet so many different people and they become such good friends with you. I emailed a number of different people from the conferences.
We were in a restaurant having our team dinner, and a couple called me over and said, "Who are these people?" And I said, "Well, they're the award-winning Model UN team." And they said, we've been looking at them for a half an hour. We've never saw such a group of young people so caring to each other, so diverse.
I believe he has learned tolerance through it also, because there's so many different countries, and the kids have to represent the country that they are assigned. And it might not agree with what they believe in, but that is what there is in the world, and there's different opinions.
It has opened up my eyes that there's a world out there that I too are going to get involved in. So I'm excited.
It's literally those people between 18 and 30 who are really changing the world.
It's not preparing people to go in the UN, it's preparing people for life.